G'day guys, Mac at the Outer Circle, and this is an interesting surprise. About 1 o'clock in the morning, getting ready to go to bed, and this popped up. So we have an Exemplary Battles of the Horus Heresy, and this comes only a month or so after the Exemplary Battles in the Age of Darkness hardcover book. And this particular time out, we're looking at the Cult Mechanicus, the Dark Mechanicum, and the Raven Guard attack on them at Constanix 2, which comes from the Corax Soulforge novel. So, hey, this is interesting to me. We might finally get some Dark Mechanicum units, and, well, being the Raven Guard, probably a good chance for us to get something like maybe Raptors. So we could have Raptors versus Dark Mechanicum. Okay, now we're talking. This is kind of interesting to me. So, let's see what we've got. We've got Liberation of Constanix 2. Yep. So that's page 1. Then we've got 8 pages. The 8th one is just blank. Alright, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of fluff. Right. Then we have a mission. Capture and hold, which is an objective mission. 3 objectives, basically in the middle of the battlefield. And it's a 4-turn game with a 50-50 chance of going to turn 5. And a 30% chance of then going to turn 6, so a 16% chance overall of going to turn 6, give or take. Yeah, you're pretty much never going to do that, so it's a 4 or 5 turn game. That means it's going to be over with very, very quickly. I don't like 4-turn games, and 5 turns is barely enough, I find, in Heresy 2.0. And not just that, it's a 3,000 point game, so 3,000 points. And 5 turns is, or 4 turns, awfully short. Not great. And nothing that super stands out to me as being this is a real Raven Guard mission, really. It's, I mean, it says, it's this small line here, all units with the Raven Guard allied detachment, do not have the vehicle type counts having the infiltrate special rule, which, hey, that's neat. It's something, but I mean, yeah. Alright. Additional provenances of war. So hang on, let me get this straight. We have a Raven Guard versus Dark Mechanicum book, and the only thing, well, PDF booklet. I mean, can't be too upset at these things. It's free content. You know, this is the best kind of content from the company, really. We didn't pay for it, and we should be grateful for something when we don't pay for it. True. But why make it about the Raven Guard and the Dark Mechanicum and then give us some militia rules? Very strange. So we got Arms of the Omnisia, which gives us Blessed Arms, eligible models in Imperialis Militia Grenadier Squads and Imperialis Militia Command Cadres. May upgrade Lasguns to Laslocks, very debatable upgrade, and may upgrade Sniper Rifles to Arc Rifles at a cost of 45 points per unit, regardless of the number of models or types of weapons upgraded in a given unit. Now this is not army-wide, this is unit-wide, so Militia Grenadiers, you can take up to 6 squads of them, but that is still not ideal. I wanted to be able to spread to more units in the army, or else I'm not really getting my bang for my buck. I can get a lot out of Provenance of War when you're restricted to basically a single unit, because we're not going to count a command cadre, it's a HQ choice. When you're restricting it to a single unit, you don't get utility out of it, because now it forces you to either take a lot of that unit to get the ability, or you're just wasting the ability. Because why would you take something else? There's no point taking this, take a different ability. And you're already paying to upgrade a very cheap unit to Sniper Rifles, then paying this additional 45 points, you pretty much double the cost of this unit. And they're not worth it. They're just basic humans in a game full of Strength 6 and 7 AP4, where they just instantly get removed from play. Every blast weapon, every heavy weapon is pretty much Strength 6, AP4, or worse. So, pointless. The option, Sanctified Weapons. A Force Commander in a detachment with this provenance may exchange a close combat weapon for a Corpuscent Stave for 5 points, and or a Las Pistol for a Radium Pistol for 5 points, and your Force Commander may take a Servo Arm for 10 points. you can't take this in conjunction with Armory of the Old Knight either, so you can't take like Volkites and stuff. Yeah. Force commanders should never be your principal combatant. They can't stand up to it, and you need them for the buffs in your army, typically. So, yeah, Arms of the Omnisia reads like someone has never played the game. Augmented Levy, next one down. So, all Imperialis Militia Levy squads in detachment with this provenance gain +1 to the leadership characteristic. That's good. That brings them up to Marine level 7. And gain the Stubborn and the Right of Pure Thought special rules, which is page 108 of the Liber Mechanicum. However, the detachment's compulsory troops choices must be filled with Imperialis Militia Levy squads, and it may not have more infantry units, excepting HQ choices, of other types than it has Imperialis Militia Levy squads in total. For example, if it has 3 Imperialis Militia Levy squads, it can have a maximum of 3 additional infantry squads of other kinds. Imperialis Militia Levy squads in an army with this provenance may not be joined by a Discipline Master. Okay, +1 leadership Stubborn is really, really good for militia. They need it because it's so easy to crush their leadership, especially with fear and knife fight situations. Anything that's shell shock, it crushes militia. But militia levies are awful. And further, this provenance cannot be taken in conjunction with the Abhuman Muster, Tainted Flesh, Gene Crafted, Unending Hordes, Feral Warriors, or Ogun conscripts. So all of the provenances you would want to combine it with that rely on their infantry, you cannot combine it with. Why would you take it? It's the left hand, the right hand are not talking. You get 2 provenances, 2 things you want to combine together to give your army unique character. And, it doesn't need to make your army top tier winning every game, but you need to feel like you don't have a hand tied behind your back. And this fails in that. Then the Forge Remnants. So an Imperialis Militia Grenadier squads and Imperialis Militia Command countries with this provenance may take a Triaros armoured conveyor as a dedicated transport, so long as they number 20 models or less. In addition, a detachment with this provenance may include 3 additional heavy support choices, but these additional choices may only be used to select Krios squadrons. Liber Mechanicum for details and points costs. All Triaros armoured conveyors and Krios squadrons selected in this fashion gain the 3rd line unit subtype and reduce their ballistic skill to 3. Oh, and it cannot be taken in conjunction with Survivors of the Dark Age or Clan Folk Levy provenances. So Krios are pretty good. Triaros are mediocre. Krios, as far as tanks go, they're about as good as you can expect in this edition. Relatively fast, relatively well armoured, decent enough firepower, but nothing to write home about. This is Krios, not Krios Venators, right? So with the Krios, you're paying an awful lot of points now for a ballistic skill 3 unit. Yeah, no one will ever get kill points or anything for it, but still, ballistic skill 3. The thing is, in this army, you already have access to the Lehman Russ as a 3rd line unit subtype. And the Lehman Russ, you can take an awful lot of them in squadrons of like 5. And they can take Vanquishers. Vanquishers being 72 inches range, strength 9, AP 2, brutal 2 weapons. And I think they're armor bane as well. And they come with a coaxial autocannon, 48 inches range, strength 7, AP 4. If you fire the autocannon first and hit with it, it twin links the Vanquisher. And these Russes are like 150 points. They're ridiculously cheap, 125 points, right? So we're taking an incredibly cheap, really tough vehicle with a form of Lehman Russ and making it disposable and making it 3rd line. It doesn't matter that ballistic skill 3, who cares, right? You got twin linked. And you're trying to make Krios compete with this. And not only that, we fall into the same trap in all 3 of these, which is 1 unit only benefits from taking the provenance. 1 unit. The Grenadiers or the Militia Levies. And this is a problem because if you want to take the other stuff in the list, like, hey, let's say you got a fetish for heavy weapons teams. You want to take a bunch of mortars or las cannons or missile launchers, whatever it might be. Sentinels, right? You want to take anything like that. The dudes who are like the animal tamers. None of them will benefit from anything here. So it doesn't encourage you to diversify your list. It encourages you to double down on the one buff that you're getting. And the buffs are not very strong. And if you take them, I mean, at least you're going to be thematic, but none of this works for me. It's almost like you need to combine these with one another for just like purely commit to being fluffy. But I have to ask the question, do the people who write these actually play Militia and understand kind of where they lack? Because doing something like Servitor Ogrins would have been a really cool idea here, or, you know, just throwing it out there. Maybe include a Raven Guard or Dark Mechanicum unit in here instead of Imperialis Militia. Just, I know, it's pretty crazy. Because we've got an 8-page document here for a basic mission and for 3 rules, essentially. This is the sort of thing you can put out in an afternoon. And I don't mean a big afternoon. I mean like after lunch, you've got 15 minutes spare, you're sitting in the toilets, you know, just getting paid on company time. That's one of life's true great privileges, getting paid to poop. And you knock this out. It's not terrible. It's just pointless. You know, I'm grateful that we got some content. It's free, don't get me wrong, but why this particular battle, and why tease that interesting units that it could have been only to deliver us something completely unrelated? It's just, I don't know, it just seems wrong to me. Wasting what is a really cool concept, and if you're not going to revisit it, like if that's it, this battle is just done and dusted, what was the point? Anyway, that's it for me. I'm Mac with the Outer Circle, and this is an Exemplary Battles, the Horus Heresy Tech Guard Bolster, the Cult Mechanicus. And I'll see you on the next one.